now to get a sense as to what will be in store for ITC after the demerger, especially with respect to BAT stake and the other triggers forward. Snehi.
Well, absolutely. Now it merits a look on what is going to remain with ITC and what happens to ITC after the hotels business demerger, now that the record date is also here. ITC X Hotels price discovery happened at 459 rupees per share today, which was roughly lower by 22 rupees. This is what the traders also had previously broadly estimated that would happen to the price of the stock today. Now, how does ITC look today in terms of financials on the back of this demerger, post the demerger? If you take a look at the financials of ITC, the hotels business contributed 3,104 crores recently to the overall revenue, which made up 4% revenue of ITC. So we can expect a cut of roughly 3,100 crore rupees when it comes to the revenue part. Similarly for PAT, ITC Hotels made up 3% of ITC Limited's overall PAT, which is roughly an amount of 765 crores. So from the overall PAT, we can expect a reduction of roughly 765 crore rupees in the next quarterly earnings as well. Now, how will the SOTP, the sum of the parts, shape up when it comes to ITC Limited? Remember, the cigarettes business made up 62% of the overall ITC Limited business, which will now come up to 64%. FMCG will contribute 18%. Paper boards, which is a strong segment for Q3, will contribute 5%. Agri will also come in at 5%, and IT and cash respectively at 4 and 4%, which will make up the total SOTP pie for ITC Limited post the demerger. Now, let's talk about what happens to the BAT stake. The British American Tobacco, they had already earlier stated that they plan to sell roughly 25% stake in ITC. Now, in correspondence to this 25% stake that they want to sell in ITC and ITC's 40% stake that they hold in ITC Hotels, this will roughly translate to a 15% stake sale in ITC Hotels from BAT. This is what we can expect to happen going ahead as well. Largely, what are some key triggers for ITC going ahead? The first and the biggest one is going to be the prospective GST tax. The chatter has been about the 35% tax bracket. It's not been discussed in the recent GST meeting, but could be on the agenda in the next one. So whether this 35% tax bracket goes through for cigarettes is going to be important to watch out for. Paper business, which contributes roughly 5% to the overall SOTP. Q3 is largely expected to be a solid quarter for the paper business. So the numbers on this front will be important to watch out for. And lastly, also watch out for the FMCG business, because overall pure play FMCG players have been complaining about a slowdown in urban demand on the back of inflation, raw material inflation remaining sticky. So these are going to be some important triggers to watch out for. But well, yes, this is what ITC Limited will look like post the demerger of ITC Hotels.